The Samsung A5 and the A7 are the first mid-range devices to be released in 2017, and they are the successors to the previous A series. The only difference between these two are the screen sizes and the battery capacity. 5.2 inches display and 3000 mAh battery on the A5, and 5.7 inches display and 3600 mAh battery on the A7. Both phones have the exact same design with a metal chassis. The rear is made out of glass, although it kind of feels more plastic to me. It attracts a lot of fingerprints and smudges. It's gonna be tough trying to keep it clean. The front display is made out of Gorilla Glass and has a 2.5D glass edge. The sides are curved and blended to the edge of the glass, so it really feels smooth on the hands. The antenna bands are two small lines at the top and bottom, and doesn't spoil the whole look of the phone. The power button is easily reachable, but not with the volume rocker. It will be just nice if it was placed slightly lower. The A7 will be too big to use one-handed. Thankfully, there is a one-handed mode for easy handling. The volume buttons are separate individual buttons, and it's easy to feel with the fingers. The fingerprint sensor is integrated with the home button. The button is raised a little and not totally flushed, so it's easy to feel with the fingers. Both models feature speakers that are on the right side above the power button. Although it's just a single speaker, it is quite loud at maximum volume. Can be seen. As for colours, they look pretty accurate and vibrant. There is the display effect settings where you can adjust the hue and colour to your liking. The design of Xiaomi's phones is becoming repetitive with the chamfered edges and 2.5D glass. It's getting a little tough to differentiate all their phones without diving into the details. I guess reducing the design budget is what allows them to reduce their price so much. The location of the speaker does prevent muffling of the speaker grills. I tried holding on all four sides, and my palms did not cover the speaker grills at all. The always on display replaces the need for LED notification. Using the Super AMOLED display, it saves battery by not powering the black pixels. You can do simple customizations, and when there are notifications, an icon will appear and you can double tap on it to wake the device and read them. It's nice that the camera module is not protruding and totally flushed with the back. There will not be any rockiness when placed flat on the table. Both phones feature a 1080p display with different sizes. 5.2 inches on the A5 and 5.7 inches on the A7. Although both have different PPI, 423 and 386, there isn't much difference. Both displays still retain sharpness. Colours are very vibrant and bright. At the maximum brightness, I had no problems using it in the sun. There is a screen mode setting where you can adjust the display and colour balance to your liking. Viewing angles still retains most of the details. And the capacity buttons flanking the home button are backlit. The fingerprint sensor lives together with the home button. It's always active and only needs a tap on the home button to unlock the screen. You don't have to push down on it. The unlock speed is quick and almost instantaneous. Both models are dual SIM and comes with two separate card slots. The left side has a slot for SIM 1 and the top is for SIM 2 and a micro SD card slot up to 256GB. I would have preferred that all the slots belong to a single SIM tray. The only configuration for both phones are 32GB of internal storage and 3GB of RAM. Out of the box, both have 21GB of free storage. Since it's running Android 6, I was hoping it comes with adaptable storage, but it doesn't. To use a USB OTG, you will need to use a Type-C USB OTG. It will not work if you use a micro USB thumb drive and plug into the Type-C adapter from the box. Talking about the battery, the A5 has a 3000 mAh battery and the A7 has a 3600 mAh battery. The rest of the common specs include Bluetooth 4.2, Wi-Fi 802.11a, b, g, and AC, 60 megapixel front and back camera, GPS, NFC, FM radio, accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity sensor, compass, and a barometer. To be honest, I'm a little worried about doing a water test since I do actually bought these phones with my own money. But since they are IP68 certified, and I really hope that Samsung did a good job at this, I'm going to do this just for you guys. Both phones looks good to me, still works as usual. The water resistance will prove very useful in rain and accidental submersion. The A5 and the A7 has an Exynos 7880 octa-core CPU and a Mali TA30 GPU. Since both internals are the same, benchmarks will be similar as well. I don't think there will be much difference in performance for daily usage. The A7 booted up slightly faster, and as for loading apps, sometimes the A5 is faster than the A7 and vice versa. Loading times when playing games are also equally fast. I tried with games that are 3D and quite graphic intensive. There were no frame rate issues. Both the A5 and the A7 handled the games pretty well. I noticed that both phones do get a little warm when playing for long durations, and will occasionally have some lag spikes. Both the A5 and the A7 comes with 3GB of RAM. Multitasking was a breeze, and I didn't really have to make an effort to close all the apps. On the whole, UI and apps loads pretty quickly. There was once or twice when pressing the home button to head back to the home screen after playing a game, it took a few seconds to trigger. There was an obvious lag and the home screen was a little distorted. I couldn't record it on camera as it is hard to recreate it. Nothing too major, and it could be an isolated issue. Making phone calls works as usual. There were no cut-offs and both sides sounded clear. The reception for both phones were at maximum most of the time. Only when in the subway or indoors, the reception hovered around 3 bars. This should vary depending on location. The dual SIM currently supports 4G and 2G, and should support 3G on a second SIM in future updates. The SIM card manager can be accessed in the notification shade. You can change settings like preferred SIM card for calls, messages, data, and quickly toggle network mode for both SIMs. The A5 and the A7 are running Grace UX on top of Android 6.0. My impressions from older versions of Samsung UI were pretty bad. This one, however, seems pretty smooth and fluent so far. Wonder how it fares as time go by. As for how the UI looks, it still feels a little cluttered. It's not hard to notice that the design bears some similarities with previous versions. When swiping left on the home screen, it gets to the integrated Flipboard app. If you would like to disable it, tap and hold on the home screen, swipe left and tap the toggle button to off. Here also allows you to change the wallpaper, add widgets and adjust the grid size. Tap and hold onto icons to show a menu of what you can do to the app. Swiping down accesses the notification shade, toggle shortcuts and the SIM card manager. Do it another time, display more toggles, a brightness slider and a search bar for searching the phone and nearby devices. A word of warning, tapping the search bar will turn on the Wi-Fi automatically even if it's off. I don't see any option to disable this. At the connection settings, there is the data usage option where you can see how much data the SIM card is using. To control which apps can use the data connection, turn on the Ultra Data Saving mode. For incoming calls vibration, you can set basic patterns for incoming calls. There is also an inbuilt equalizer when connecting to the earphones, which sounded pretty good for my music. You can enable or disable app notifications individually and even customize the priority, whether to show the previews in pop-up or show while the device is locked for privacy. There are several options for the display, like the blue light filter to prevent strain on the eyes. You can also adjust font sizes and choose easy mode for more simplified UI. To customize how the UI looks, there's a dedicated UI setting where you can change the themes and icons to your liking. Some of the advanced settings are palm swipe to screenshot, quick launch camera by pressing home button twice quickly, and easy mute. There is an option to enable game launcher, which keeps all your games in one location for easy access. Inside the folder, you can save power when playing games by reducing the resolution and limiting the FPS. Game Tools is a floating button that hovers over games with features like record gameplay or record the front camera while playing a game, screenshot and lock the recent and back keys to prevent accidental pressing. Device management, like the name suggests, is a one-stop place to keep your phone always clean and snappy. The optimize button usually does the job for you, but there are several features at the bottom if you would like to dive deeper, like battery, RAM and storage. Among them is the security option to scan for threats and vulnerabilities. For privacy-conscious individuals, you can make use of the secure folder to keep your photos and apps safe. It's powered by Samsung Knox, and you can only open the folder by a lock-type authentication. It's a separate instance that is not linked to the regular OS. Any apps added to the secure folder will be another instance of the app that was installed outside the folder. So you can have two different instances of the same app in a single phone. Not all apps will work. I tested with Date Trigger 2. It says I need to download the game. To counter this, use the Play Store in the secure folder and download the game or app that will not work properly. Other functions you can customize are the individual app permissions, the lock screen shortcuts, pin windows, and split screen. If you are thinking the A7 battery life definitely lasts longer, well, you are right. My daily usage is to unplug the phone from the charger at 8 AM, calls, messaging, some gaming, lots of web surfing, emails during the day, and by the time I plug back into the charger, it will be around 10 PM. Bearing in mind I kept the always on display switched on, the A5 had around 25 to 40% battery left, and the A7 had about 35 to 45% battery left, which is crazy good. Of course, battery life varies a lot depending on individual usage, but both phones can definitely last a good full day with ease. Using the supplied adaptive fast charger and cable, it took about 1 hour 25 minutes to 1 hour 40 minutes to fully charge from 0 to 100% on the A5, and 1 hour 40 minutes to 1 hour 50 minutes on the A7. For those who want to manage battery life, head on to the device maintenance for battery options. There you can select a power saving mode to squeeze more juice, use the app monitor to prevent apps from using too much power, and also unmonitor apps to allow them to use as much power as they want. Both phones have the exact 60 megapixel front and back camera. On the stock camera app, they also have the same functions and modes. Swiping left accesses the different camera modes like Pro, Panorama, Hyperlapse, HDR, Night and Food mode. Swipe right to get to the camera filters. Photos taken in the day are clear and retains sharpness and color. Night shots also appear quite clear, but still has some noise and blurriness. But it's still one of the better night cameras I've used in a while. LED flash shots looks quite bad. I will avoid it when possible. HDR mode takes 2 seconds longer to process and generally makes the photos look brighter, especially in night shots. The night mode also makes the photos look a little brighter, but not as bright as HDR mode. Focusing speeds are pretty quick between objects, but in the night, it does perform a little slower. Continuous autofocus works very well in keeping the focus object clear and sharp. Macro shots works pretty good as well, and is able to take photos as near as 10 cm. It also does a nice job in making the background around the object blurry. The food mode is for those who like taking pictures of their food. What it does is it creates a circle of focus, then you drag the circle on the food of your choice. That way, all the attention is on the food and the surrounding looks blurry. They have included a Pro mode where you can adjust the brightness, ISO and white balance. As for video, there is no OIS on both cameras, and the maximum resolution it can record in is 1080p. Videos will definitely be shaky, but still works well in general. The front camera works well as a selfie camera with the help of the cosmetic tool. If you compare the photo with my iPhone 7 Plus, you can see the blemishes on my face removed on the A5 and A7. Hey guys, this is the video test of the front camera. On my left is the A5 and on my right is the A7. Seems like the 1080p camera works pretty well. It's been a fresh experience using a Samsung device after so long. The UI looks new, build quality and performance isn't too bad either. Comparing the design of the phone to the previous A series, I kinda prefer the previous one. The only negative experience is the occasional lag spikes when gaming, and the one-time UI lag. Apart from that, it was a positive experience. The IP68 rating, the bright and vivid display, and great battery life adds onto it. The only gripe I have is the pricing. It's not exactly cheap for a mid-range device. All in all, if you can get it cheaper, it's worth to get either the A5 or the A7 depending on your preferred screen size. That's all for this video. I hope it was informative for you, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more such videos. Thanks for watching and see you guys in the next one.